Hey guys, what's up? This is Brian with Games Under Pressure, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Screamride. And Screamride is the newest game from Frontier, and you probably know Frontier. If you play PC games, you've probably played Elite Dangerous, which is really great. But what a lot of people don't know is they have a great pedigree when it comes to roller coaster-based games. So Frontier did Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, which was the first 3D entry in the series. They also followed that up with a game called Coaster Crazy on mobile. And finally, they just announced a game that's coming out in 2016 called Coaster Park Tycoon. Now, keep in mind that Frontier does not have the rights to the IP of Roller Coaster Tycoon, so Coaster Park Tycoon is sort of their way of skirting that. And Screamride comes between Coaster Crazy and Coaster Park Tycoon. And it's a little bit of a different take on sort of that old school, coaster building sim. And let's get into it because this is a very interesting game. I'll let you watch a cutscene here, but just keep one thing in mind. Look for the aliasing, which is pretty bad, and some small stuttering here and there.
And beyond. Our work will benefit all humanity in the future. I am Control. I will guide you through your training. New employees can complete 3 career paths at Screamworks: Screenwriter, Engineer, and Demolition Expert. Each role serves an important purpose in our company's long-term strategy. Do not be alarmed. A patrol will pick him up in time. We strive to keep humans safe and injury-free at Screamworks. Welcome to Screamworks.
So there you go. That wasn't YouTube in terms of the choppiness of that video. That was just the game, and that's one of a few performance problems that I've seen. So I'm going to try to cover those. Here is sort of the overall map. This is the world map. You can see all the different continents here. And this game is organized very similarly. I'll let you watch this again.
Labs, the first step in your journey at Screamworks. The labs were created to pursue knowledge and insight about the human capacity for excitement and physical stress. We're pushing humanity to a new level using the tool of extreme entertainment. Your work here will be an important part of our long-term plans, which are currently classified.
So there you go. What I was saying is that this game is structured very similarly to an iOS game. So here is the sub-map of the map that I just showed you with the continents, and you can see that there are 3 distinct game types. The first, the blue, is the Screamrider game type, the orange is the Demolition Expert, and the greenish yellow is the Engineer. And my complaint with the game right now, let's just get into it, is that these are very siloed, disparate game types. There is very little overlap. There's very little crossover. So even though I think there's sort of a middle ground between a lot of these, and I think they could combine these modes in really interesting ways, they don't. So Screamride, just from this demo, I don't know if they're going to do something different in the main game. Again, this is just a demo. The game comes out in a few weeks. But it really feels like 3 different games in one, and I'll get into it. I'll sort of show you what each mode is here. This first mode is Screamrider, and I believe there's going to be another cutscene here, so I'll shut up. But this is a pretty interesting mode.
You will prove your riding ability. You will not progress to the challenges ahead until you master this one.
So here you go. As I mentioned, it's structured like an iOS game, so you're going to be able to replay a lot of these courses to accomplish these bonus challenges that you see on the screen. And the white stars right next to the left of the gold cup there, you get those stars based on the points. You get the gold cup based on the completion of all the bonus challenges. So let's get into this right now. And this mode is relatively interesting in that, imagine this as being, as controlling the coaster cart on a Roller Coaster Tycoon roller coaster. you have access to acceleration and braking. As you can see with the countdown at the top, it's a little bit like Mario Kart. If I did a little bit too early there, but if you do it on time, you get additional boost up top. These glowing blue sections of the track are boost. So if you, man, you know, I'm just going to restart because I'm missing all the cues here. I'm normally not this bad at the game. Man, oh man, I'm not feeling it right now. So here, I'll show you. The blue, let's get the boost right. Watch the meter up top. There we go, and the boost meter fills a little bit. You can use boost, as you can see here, and the game is slightly reminiscent of Burnout in that, as you can see, my car is coming off the tracks there. And what you do is, if you can keep your car on 2 wheels for a long period of time, it'll give you a bonus. So if you play in a risky way, it's sort of this risk and reward system. And if you play it correctly, you get more points. So here, let's nail the boost.
Perfect.
You can brake around corners, and you use the left stick to lean the car in the opposite direction. So if I'm turning right, I'm going to hold the stick left, and if I'm turning left, I'm going to hold the stick right. It's sort of an interesting mechanic. I forget the name of it, but there's an iOS game that is almost identical to this, and it's not Coaster Crazy. It's a different one. But this isn't exactly a new idea by any stretch of the imagination. It's very well executed though, and even though you know, the visual style is super simple, the game looks good when it's in motion. And I have to say, the water effects in terms of reacting to debris is really, really solid. So you'll see in the next mode that when you destroy buildings, like you see here, when the debris falls into the water, you get a really, really cool effect there. And it's probably better than I've seen in a long the best water effect I've seen in a long time. And this just is absolutely horrifying. I think this is hopefully just part of the demo. They play that after every successful mission, and it's horrifying and atrocious. So let's go back here. We're going to go down to Demolition Expert, and Demolition Expert is my personal favorite mode out of all of these. It's very arcadey, and again, there's going to be another cutscene here, so I'll shut up, but just notice some of the jaggies here.
Erecting buildings for the sole purpose of destroying them has made our Demolition Expert program quite controversial. So you will understand the pressure for our candidates to produce results in this section.
All right, so this is a completely different mode, and it bears very, very little resemblance to any other part of the game. And basically the goal, you see all the buildings in front of me, the goal is to just destroy everything you possibly can. This rotating hammer looking thing, you have control over. So you can change the speed at which you spin. You can see the meter at the bottom. You can control that with the left and right the left and right triggers. And if you press A, you can slow down time a little bit. You can see a guide, and you let her rip. And there are explosive barrels at the bottom of each skyscraper, so you can see that those just blew up. You get bonuses for the building being demolished, as you just saw, and you also get bonuses for the explosions themselves. So you have three types of three of this type of cabin. Let's see, this is one of my favorite buildings to take down, just because the base is so tiny.
Chain reaction achieved.
And watch what I mean about the water. It actually like sort of reacts, and you have waves based on what fell in. Really cool. You can press A right before you hit, and that spreads apart all of the pieces there, widens the damage that you can do. One of my issues in particular, and it's just a technical issue, sometimes it switches automatically. You don't have control over where the camera goes. You can switch between cameras, but when it switches to a camera, you don't really have a lot of control over the timing of that. And sometimes the camera angle just isn't that good. It'll show you a collapsed building like you just saw. Something that doesn't really make any sense.
Structure status critical.
And this game has just a very arcadey kind of pick up and play feel to it. So far, it's my favorite mode. I'm really liking it. It's so simple and stupid. And it has almost the quality of, I would compare it to like Monkey Target from Super Monkey Ball, where, you know, it doesn't take a whole heck of a lot of skill, so it might be a good party game. Just pick up and play. I screwed that up, but it doesn't matter, because that building's going down anyway.
Structural damage. Collapse imminent.
If I can hit the target there. Bullseye.
Explosive chain reaction underway. Foundation damage. Collapse underway. Structural damage detected. Multiple
in here.
Underway.
And if you hadn't destroyed a lot of the skyscrapers like I did before this, you would see that that really creates a chain reaction. In my experience, though, it doesn't necessarily give you a whole heck of a lot of points.
Reattempting level.
And it'll actually like pause and freeze for a second. So, you know, not great presentation, unfortunately. I really hope that before the final game comes out, there's not a whole lot of time left, but before the final game comes out, they can do something to address that.
Aquatic pickup team.
Because overall, I really like the graphical style, and it's so simple that you would expect the game to run very, very, very smoothly. It just doesn't. When you're in game, it's serviceable, but the resolution looks a little bit low, and it's just not an optimal experience, unfortunately. And here is this just god-awful FMV. This is just the worst thing I've ever seen. And there is one more mode, and this is going to be very familiar to fans of Roller Coaster Tycoon. This is the engineering mode, and again, there's another cutscene, so I'll shut up and let you listen to that.
Engineering is key to what we do here at Screenworks. Any candidate who hopes to progress must prove they can build the terrifying structures that will ensure a brighter future for us all.
So, this is just a standard building mode. You get some really, really, really cool tools at your disposal, some really neat track options, things that people tried to build in Roller Coaster Tycoon to varying levels of success. And one thing that I really appreciate about this is they made coaster building so easy in this game. I'm not necessarily like one of those people who would spend a lot of time building something like this. You know, I'm one of those dudes that just sort of like downloads stuff from Little Big Planet or whatever. I don't necessarily go out of my way to build stuff on my own, just because I find that typically it's not worth the hassle unless you're going to put a lot of time into it. With this mode, you can build some cool stuff with very, very little effort, and I think that's the key to a good game like this. So here I'm just building sort of the standard track, and if you press X, you can open up this menu here, and this gives you special sections of track. So you can see here under utility you have a booster and brakes. You also have under here a special non-inverting. These are just helix loops and some turns. You have special loops, so as you can see, you can do a very large loop, or you can do a very small loop. You can do some crazy, like, inverted loops here, and that looks absolutely terrifying. So let's add that. I'm gonna really put these guys through hell. I think we're gonna need a boost after that, probably. I haven't made a roller coaster that can't get to the finish line, which is good. You don't really have to worry too much about inertia. I just want to see how sick I can make these people, because that is what any good Roller Coaster Tycoon fan should be doing with this game. I think there's, yeah, are they still upside down here? Ooh, yeah. Brutal. And they don't give you a lot of track here to work with. So I better start turning it back. I think it's still on the side here. I don't necessarily know how to go straight. And I got enough, or pretty close to enough. I think one of the criteria for this is you have to build 1,200 meters of track, I want to say. And that just looks absolutely terrifying. And there's a really handy little autocomplete, because getting out of this, like, nightmare spiral would be pretty difficult. So you can see I auto-completed it there. And here's where the sort of the siloed disparate modes get a little bit weird. So you saw originally in the first mode, Screamrider, I was able to ride the track. I was able to control the acceleration of the car and things like that. With this, I have not found, and I hope this is going to be in the final game, but I haven't found a way to actually ride my own roller coaster. And you can see if I press down on the D-pad, it goes into a test ride where it shows you the speed, it shows you the lateral G-force, and people will get ejected based on the intensity of the ride. And if you're pulling too many G's, you can see, I'm sure I'll eject almost everybody in here. But there's no way to actually ride it yourself, get that first-person view, which is a little bit disappointing. Yeah, see, people are dropping like flies. I gotta say, it makes me a little happy. Yeah, people just... Yeah, yikes.
Rider, pick up dispatch. Please stand by.
So, again, you know, like these weird segmented modes, they all are fun on their own. They're all fun just, you know, screwing around in. But there's not really a sense of cohesion. And I hope that changes before the game actually launches. Jesus Christ, this gives me nightmares. You know, I hope there's a little bit more cohesion. Because right now, like, each mode is fun, but they could be so much better if they actually meshed in some meaningful way. So, you know, if they fix that and come up with some interesting takes on all of these modes, and they fix some of the presentation and technical issues with, you know, the resolution. I don't know what it's running at, but I don't think it's 1080p. Typically, when you see aliasing like that in a lot of those jaggies, that means it's running in sub-full HD resolution. So I don't know if this is running in 720p or something a little bit higher than 720p, but I don't know. It's like strangely blurry. It's in some parts. There's some stutters you can see. Retrying levels quickly leads to some like flat out pausing in the game. So I hope that they can resolve some of this, because overall I'm really having a blast with it. It seems like they're on you know, a really good, they have a really good foundation laid here. And I'm really excited to get the final retail version of this game. I'm looking forward to that. And of course, once I get that, I will update come up with another update video, show just how the game meshes and how everything came together. So if you like videos like this, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this in the future. We also have a Dying Light contest going on right now. So if you're a fan of Dying Light like I am, you can submit the craziest stunt that you can pull off, whether it's a kill or a jump or whatever the case is. I have another video on this channel about it, so check that out. I'm giving away a $50 Steam code or PSN code or Xbox Live code or Nintendo Network code. So if you playing Screamride, you probably have an Xbox One or an Xbox 360. You can use that code to buy another game. So definitely check that out, and again, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.